All right, today I'm going to show you how to take a plain white tablecloth, like the ones I showed you several months ago. Don't worry, the link is in the video, and turn it into a fall-themed tablecloth. So stay tuned and see how fun and easy this is to do. All right, to prep for the video, first I made one of the tablecloths like I made on a video on the channel about a year and a half ago. There'll be a link. I know for a fact I'll put a link at the end of this video, and I'll put a link in the blog post. I'll try to remember to put a link at the top corner of the video at this point, but if I forget, they'll be linked the other two places. But basically it's cotton fabric adhered to aluminum foil so that you can make a realistic drape on your tablecloth. So I made that. So you can, if you don't remember how to do that or haven't seen that, you can go watch that video. And then, because we're going to be putting a design on it, and I need this to stay perfectly still while I'm working on the design, I have a piece of paper that is folded to be the same width as my tablecloth. It's taped down on my tray, on my work surface. This is a ceramic tile like I always work on. I have wide masking tape that's sticky side up, 2 strips of it, and then that is securely taped on both sides. I want this to stay perfectly still. Now the first step is probably, I'm doing it for insurance purposes. This is actually the 3rd time I've filmed this because I've made the same mistake on both of them that I did earlier. So to prevent that, I'm going to do a little insurance here. I have some white fabric paint. Now you could probably use craft paint on this, but I have a lot of this white fabric paint and I'm getting low on craft paint. So I decided go ahead and use it. I don't think craft paint would crack on the corners, but I'm not positive. And since I've got this, I'm going to use it. And it's not all that expensive. I think I picked this up either Hobby Lobby or Walmart. So I'm going to put just a little bit out. And yeah, it's a white tablecloth and I'm painting it white. That's so I can seal it, and if I have to clean up a mistake later, I can. Also, it's a little more white than my white fabric. So I've got a kind of wide brush, and I'm just going to paint this fabric, just the fabric side, white. It's going to take a little more paint than I thought. So I am going to get this completely painted white and let it dry completely because it needs to be completely dry to go on to our next step. So when that is finished, I will come back and we can do the next step. All right, the paint is completely dry. It's actually dried for a couple of days because I didn't get back to it the other day. So now I'm going to seal the tablecloth with some Mod Podge. Since we're not really going to be moving the fabric a lot, I don't think we need any kind of special Mod Podge. Like I said when I did the paint, I think acrylic paint would have been fine. I have more of the fabric paint than I have of white acrylic paint right now. I'm using satin Mod Podge. Either satin or matte would be fine for this application. What we're going to do is put a thin coat, and I mean a really thin coat, and this is an insurance coat. This is in case we make a mistake with our lines, which, truth be told, the week that this is going up is a week after I had planned to do this video because I had it all filmed and I messed up on one of the very last parts of the design and I couldn't fix it. So I had to come up with a way to fix the fabric, to fix it so that I could remove a line that was in the wrong place. So that's why we're painting and sealing with Mod Podge. This is an insurance policy. If you trust that you're not going to make any mistakes, great, go for it. Skip the Mod Podge step, skip the paint step if you want to. I want to make sure that when I get all this work done, that this is actually going to look the way I want it to. So this needs to dry completely because I want the Mod Podge totally dry before I move to the next step. So I'm going to let this dry for a few hours. I'm not sure. I'm going to check the Mod Podge jar and see how long it says it's supposed to dry, and probably give it a little more time than that because I don't want to mess up my pens on the next step, because yes, we're using pens to make our design. So when this gets completely dry, I'll come back and we can start putting our design on. All right, the Mod Podge has dried all the way, and I have marked the halfway point on each edge off of my tablecloth onto the paper underneath or the tape, depending on the side. Now we are going to start by doing cross lines. And what I'm using for my lines are these two marking pens. These are permanent markers. These happen to be Bic. They're Bic's version of a Sharpie pen, basically. I'm going to start with the blue in the middle. And I won't make you watch me do the whole thing. I'm going to do part of this, and then I'll turn the camera off and do the rest of the length. So what I'm going to do, line my ruler up as best I can with the halfway mark, and it looks like I'm off a little bit, but that's on my marks, but I know about where I need to be. So it doesn't have to be perfect. Take the pen, start off of your tablecloth and go across off. If you don't go off on both sides, start off the side and here. If you start or stop on the fabric, it's going to make a dot. It's going to bleed a little bit and make a mark. Now I'm going to go up a ½ inch from that line. And once again, I'm going to do that. And then I'm going to go a ½ inch again. And when I get this done, I'm going to turn the entire tile around and do the other direction, and then I'll be back. All right, here are our lines going cross. Now, I'm going to flip this around this way. I think it's more accurate for me anyway to work away from myself and from the center. So now, once again, I'm going to line my ruler up. Open my pen. Hopefully I'm not getting my head in the camera. Where's my line? There's my line. And this time I've also got these lines that I can line up to make sure they are going straight-ish. Again, start and end off and a ½ inch away. I find if I start from the edge, it's not nearly as accurate. I have a lot more opportunity to mess up that way. So I'm going to finish this. I'm going to rotate the tile, and then I will finish the other side, and then I'll be back. All right, so now all of our blue lines are in place. And by the way, I don't think I told you the color of this one. This one is called Hot Aqua. There'll be more information on the blog post. Now we're going to put the sunset orange lines in between. I've seen a lot of like teal or aqua and orange colored things for fall, and I love that combination. So what I'm going to do is go back, and you can measure either from the orange line you made or just a ½ inch from your blue line, so that this is right in the middle. And I'm going to go the whole length all the way to this edge, turn it around, go all the way to this edge. I'll turn it around and do all the lines going that way, working from the center out each time. And when I'm done, I'll come back and we'll talk about what we've done. All right, I removed this off the tile off camera because it was a very noisy process of getting this peeled off of all that masking tape. But now we have a tablecloth. I also trimmed the edges to make sure everything was square, and it's ready to go on the table. I do want to take a moment though. I did treat an extra piece of the foil backed fabric. Up here is raw fabric. Down here it's all painted with the same white fabric paint. And over here I have Mod Podge on it. I want to show you why we did those steps. So let's put an orange line across where it's just the fabric, and an orange line across the Mod Podge area and the just paint area. And I'll do the same with the teal. So you can see why. And I'm going to let this sit for a few minutes because you may not catch your mistake immediately. And it's always easier to get a mistake off quicker rather than later. So we're going to let this dry for 4 or 5 minutes, and then I'll come back and I'll show you how to fix a mistake if you do make it. All right, this ink has had time to set up, and what I've done is I've gotten a couple of things on hand. I've got some 91% isopropyl alcohol. I recommend at least a 90, 91%. If you can get 100%, that's even better. 70, I've had okay results doing similar things, but for a while that was all we could get. I have a paper towel. I have some of that alcohol in this cup, and I have some Q-tips, or cotton swabs as they're called generically. And what I'm going to do is start with where it's just the fabric. You see, we can get some of this off, and if we really scrub, we can make kind of a smeared mess. And if we really worked at it, we could get part of that off, not all of it, and we'd probably have a mess. I mean, you could probably sit here and really work at it and get it okay. You know, you could probably get most of the ink off, and if it was only a small spot, you'd probably be fine. Like if you dropped your pen and maybe made a mark like that, you could maybe fix that. Let's go down here where it's paint. This is the area where I painted. And it's going to take some work, but it's coming off. And let's get the blue. And most of it came off. And again, you could probably work at it and get it to come off all the way. But look how clean that comes off. I don't even need to blot it. This is where the Mod Podge is. The reason I decided to do the extra steps, the extra step of the Mod Podge, was I actually had the entire video filmed and was going to have this video up a week ago. I got to the very last couple of lines and I put the wrong color marker pen in the wrong place. And it totally ruined it. And I thought, oh, I'll be able to get it off. I couldn't. I scrubbed and scrubbed and scrubbed and ended up throwing that one away. So I decided that it was better to err on the side of really making it easy to clean off than just somewhat easy. So as you can see, this cleans up really well, but unless you spray this with alcohol, it's not going to smear. It's sealed on there. Water specks will not harm marker pen because these pens, like a Sharpie, are alcohol-based inks. So they're not going to be water soluble. That's why I chose this. If you wanted to, you could put an additional coat of Mod Podge over the top. I'm not going to bother. I don't think it's necessary. But if you feel the need to, go ahead and do that. That's another option that will seal it even more. So let me get my table over here and let's put this tablecloth on. I'll show you how to fit it to the table, and then I will change the camera orientation and we will look at this table with our pumpkins from a couple of weeks ago. So I'll be right back. All right, I've got my table here. Now I had to trim this because I had cut this a little crooked. So it's a little narrower than I would like, but I'm going to show you how to fit it anyway. So we're going to go to, my tablecloth happens to be 1.5 inches wider and 2 inches longer, and that's fine. It doesn't have to be exactly the same on both sides. So I'm going to fold it up. I'm measuring the 3/4 inch. It's just nice to do this folding here first. And one of the things I love about these tablecloths done this way, I can fold it flat and fold it and put it away and not have to have it, and it won't hurt it. I can come back and fold it and make it fit the table again next year. You also could probably, as long as you put a cloth under it, use an iron on the back side and press it if you've got some big wrinkles in it. All right, now Let's see how this looks. So we're going to fold this on, and now it fits the table. And you can do your corners however you like corners on a real tablecloth to look. I like that kind of look. And off camera, I will do a little more tweaking, and then I will go ahead and bring the camera down and show you how this looks from the side. So that's all there is to making a tablecloth that will stay in place, that will have realistic looking folds. You can kind of make it a little wavy if you want it to look like it's got a little more movement to it, but that's all there is to it. So I'm going to get finished getting this fitted on. I'm going to grab my container with our pumpkins from a couple weeks ago to make a centerpiece, and I'll be right back. All right, I've put the tablecloth on the table and got it kind of more the way I wanted it, and then I placed some of the pumpkins we made a few weeks ago on the center of the table, as if the doll family just had it decorated for fall, just to have it pretty in the dining room. Be sure and hop over to the blog post. There'll not only be photos of it set up this way, but I've got some other ideas I want to set up on the table and show you other ways that you could display this. I hope you've enjoyed today's project. I certainly did, and I think it'll be fun to decorate tablecloths for different seasons and different times of the year. So look forward to that in the next several months. If you enjoyed the video, be sure and hit the like button. Leave me a comment. What kinds of things would you like to see in future videos? If you enjoyed my content and haven't subscribed, I encourage you hit that subscription button and the notification bell so you know when I put up a new video. Thank you very much for watching today, and I will talk to you next time. Bye.